big fireball. More fire. More fire.
Yes, guys, here we go. This is episode 5 of the United Forever podcast, and I'm Sam, and I'm with my cousin
Adam. How are you?
Adam Shagham. I'm all right. Not too bad, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. All good.
Nice weekend.
Yeah, not bad. It's been relatively quiet. All good. How about yourself?
Okay. Yeah, not too bad, mate. But apart from last night, obviously, we were texting him that lot, and I was saying I had a couple of burgers, mate.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened, but the digestive tract just became paralyzed. And I was like, oh, I've got to lie down in the recovery position. I was like, fucking hell, what can I raid in the medicine cabinet? Oh, mate, I was thinking, do I do the 2 fingers and do a bit of bulimia? Or do I look for a good old home remedy?
a David R special.
Oh, fucking hell, David, oh, what a ledge. Mate, we're going to do a special episode dedicated to some David R anecdotes. But, mate,
Definitely.
in the end, I was thinking, right, I've got a pot of bicarb. Do I do a granddad? A good old teaspoon of bicarb in a glass of water and do a shot?
Oh, mate.
Bring on the tsunami belch.
Beautiful.
No, but what I did in the end is I found right in the back of the medicine cupboard some peppermint oil capsules. Fucking hell, Rona boner. So, oh mate, so the old peppermint, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever tried peppermint oil capsules before.
No, I've had peppermint tea, but yeah, nothing that extreme. Concentrated.
Mate, it is full on. It's like having, if you buy a box of peppermint tea, you might get, 30-something plus bags.
Yeah.
Right. It's like that multiplied by 10 and squashed down into a capsule. And
Nice.
It's like, if you take it, mate, you're coming out the Matrix. It's that bad. Well, it's that bad and that good, all right? Because what it does is it sort of relieves some... Mate, we should be sponsored by Holland and Barrett for this. So what it does... So, mate, I took this capsule and I lie down in the recovery position. And after about a couple of hours, it sorted me out. But this morning, right, when I went for my good old clockwork poo, do you know what? I swear you shit peppermint.
Aroma.
Mate, it makes your bumhole tingle. You know that shower gel by Lynx with all those like tangy bits in it?
Oh, what was it called? Original sauce, that's it. Mint.
Yeah, original sauce.
Yeah.
Mate, original nutter shower gel. So don't get it on your bumhole because you'll proper feel it tingle at anything. So after swallowing 30 bags of peppermint tea, fucking arsehole was like full on tingling peppermint stuff. I swear every fart would give off a green cloud.
Oh,
savage.
Brilliant.
Oh dear. So going back to the old D.O.F, if anyone doesn't know what a D.O.F is, you're probably thinking, well, these two tards are D.O.Fs. But a D.O.F is actually a director of football.
Correct.
So talking about the club we love dearly, do you truly believe that we need a D.O.F?
Yes, I do. Solely because, even though Ollie is an established person in regards to his playing career, he is still, in my eyes, unproven as a manager. And sometimes I feel that hampers potential transfer signings.
Yes.
For example, I know this is not going to happen now, but if you had Messi and he had 2 offers on the table, exactly the same contracts, and one was from Man United, and one was from Man City, who's he going to go for?
I'd go with his old manager, wouldn't he? Old
Exactly.
Guardiola and the Spanish posse.
And why is that? Because Guardiola is a proven manager. He's been there and done it all. All right, Ollie has been there and done it all as a player, but as a manager, it's different.
That's right.
And I think
he did achieve some beautiful stuff over in Norway, because Molde were just a very small club. And if you actually watch Ollie's documentaries about how he revolutionised Molde and emulated the sort of United projects and everything, that is really cool. And he did well there. But this is the real big world of football management right now.
Exactly. He's gone from a Vauxhall Astra up to a Lamborghini, hasn't he? Let's be honest.
That's the one. Yes, mate.
You know, and I think having a D.O.F will help the club, I believe. But as we will touch on later on, there are some major obstacles in the way stopping a director of football working correctly in the current setup.
Exactly. Just to give if anyone's listening, just to give you a little bit of a hint, it's related to wood. Obviously not what you get first thing when you wake up in the morning, but something that's really, really worse than that shit. So I think that we do need a D.O.F, but in a weird way, Ollie himself has been a bit of a D.O.F. You know, he's come in, he's done his psychological fix that we've talked about in depth in previous episodes. But when you think about it, he had a game plan and he's been ruthless. People thought, Ollie's just a yes man. Yes, this, yes, that. As soon as he put his foot through the door, he said, "You, lanky bugger with the afro, get the fuck out of our club." What did he do? Kicked him on the way out as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And Sanchez, mate, shave off that moustache and fuck off to Inter with the rest of the retirement pussy.
Exactly.
Or posse, I should say, not pussy. Sorry. Some pussies, I suppose, have a
bit of a tangent here, right? Talking about Sanchez.
Yes, mate.
This has nothing to do with a director of football, so bear with me here. But apart from Romero, give me one South American player that has played well in a United shirt.
I can tell you a South American player that has played well without a United shirt, and that was Diego Forlan. Because when he eventually scored a goal after about 17 matches, he went charging down to the other end of the pitch, and then he didn't know how to put his fucking shirt back on.
If I been so long, I've forgotten how to put my shirt on and off. So, again, apart from Romero, name one South American who has done the business and was worth their transfer fee for United.
Okay. Well, when Ronaldo was making it big at Man U, and we had old, what was Fergie's ex-Portuguese assistant called?
Carlos.
Carlos Queiroz, right? So they started bringing in some Portuguese and Brazilian talents, didn't they? So they got Nani that came from Sporting, and they got Anderson that came from Porto.
Cleberson.
Now, mate, Cleberson. What a fucking...
we brought the wrong one.
What a clever. Yeah, no. But Cleberson. No, but Anderson, I did like him because I actually when I was doing my year abroad over in Spain, I actually flew over to Portugal to watch the last two matches of the Portuguese season, which were two derby matches. I went to see Benfica against their local rival, which was Sporting, and I saw Nani play, and I thought, fucking hell, this guy's got serious potential. Then got the train up to Porto and watched them play against their local rivals, which was Boa Vista. And I saw Anderson play, and mate, Anderson looked the tits, mate. And his downfall was when he shaved off the dreads.
Okay, fair enough.
Mate, he abandoned the ragamuffin cause. I thought, what are you doing?
Yeah. Okay.
So
in
I
answer to the
thought, all right, we've
question,
had
we're going with Anderson. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. I will agree to disagree with
Anderson
you on that one, but yeah, I don't
and
know.
Raphael, mate. I did like Raphael,
All right. Okay.
just because Fergie knew how to play him.
And he's come out and said, and he's given Sanchez a right slating. You need to Google that. That's
Yes,
amazing.
I can't.
Basically, yeah, it was about Sanchez wanting to move back to Arsenal after his first training
Yes,
session. If you haven't read it, go get online later and read it. It's amazing. He basically Sanchez has got third degree burns on him right now because of what Raphael said to him.
fucking hell, I've got to check that out. And also, when you think about it, his twin, old Fabio as well, he had potential, but unfortunately, he had old Ever in front of him, so it was
Exactly.
difficult
So to be honest with you, I forgot.
find a path.
I did forget about the twins. So all right, we'll go with Anderson and
No,
the two,
but I'm
and
yeah,
Raphael. Okay, we'll go with those two. We'll
yeah.
forget about
But we've had many flops.
Veron. We'll forget about him, even though on occasions
Yeah,
he had bits and pieces. But anyway, we're going away from
yeah,
the main idea of this podcast tonight. So let's get back
yeah.
to business.
But before we do that, I just need to mention, I can't back away from what I said the other day when we're talking about our preferred midfield. I did put Fred in there.
Okay.
So Fred's Brazilian, he's South American, but
Okay.
in a weird way, Brazil is the Portuguese bit of South America, and then all the rest is the Spanish part, apart from a tiny little bit which belongs to England and another little bit which belongs to the Dutch. But anyway, oh mate, talking about that, we've got Chongi, who's of Suriname, which is like an old Dutch colony. So he's got his heritage there. So Chongi's got potential, and congratulations for getting some good goals.
Yes.
Old Werder Bremen.
His
So
first
we're
goal was
deviating.
Bremer, wasn't it? So it was
Yes,
good.
mate.
But anyway, let's get back to the DOF.
Back to the DOF. So do you think if we look for a DOF, should we look afar or should we look for a person within the club that we've got right now, like a Mickey Phelan?
Right. At the moment, Phelan has still got a lot to offer alongside Ollie, and I think Ollie needs Phelan next
Yes,
to him.
mate.
Could he do a dual role as a assistant coach and a DOF? Probably not, solely because of what the director of football job entails. So how long? But nobody knows how long this partnership's going to go on with Ollie and Phelan and those two in Man United. You can't tell, can you? From one season to the next.
No. And
but
plus, Woodworm's proper trigger happy anyway,
Yeah. So let's just assume that this is going to turn into a good. At the moment, it's ticking along nicely, but let's just assume this turns into something good. How old's Mike Phelan? Hang on, I'm just googling him.
Yes, mate. Good job you got your laptop in front of you.
Yeah. He is 57. Right. So, okay. So let's assume that Ollie and Phelan are going to be at the helm of United for the next decade. Right. Let's just.
Yes.
Right. I think Phelan wouldn't be able to become a director of football within the next decade. So we would need somebody in the short term.
Okay.
And I think getting someone who is potentially at the end of their footballing career in regards to backroom, so an older person for the next decade potentially would benefit the club. Somebody
Okay.
that's not going to say our bollocks to this and have a waiver in their contract about becoming a manager somewhere else. That's not what we want. We want somebody who is, knocking on God's waiting room, so to speak.
Yeah. No, totally.
Potentially,
I personally think, yeah.
potentially, what I don't. He hasn't got 10 years left in him. Well, he might have, but play in the football setup. I mean, but Fergie would be ideal. So, but I know he's got a lot of health problems. He recovered from his brain hemorrhage, stuff like that, and he does like
That's
to.
the one, yeah.
Even when you see him in the stands, he's still getting stressed out, and you can see that.
Yeah.
But I think he would be the ideal person to take that job in the interim period of the next decade.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to say, right, is, I mean, we could sort of fantasize even more about Fergie and say, oh, mate, if only he would have stayed with us for until, he was knocking on death's door and stuff. But still, I think that what Ollie's doing, right, is he's assessing his coaching staff and he's looking around and he's thinking, so which one could he promote up to assistant manager? Because if you've watched games this season, Phelan's like sometimes not making appearances and stuff.
Yeah.
Next to Ollie, and I'm thinking, what's he doing? Has he had health problems or something?
Yeah.
Or is Ollie trying to put more trust in the younger coaching staff like Kieran McKenna and Michael Carrick who are next to him? So I'm thinking that Ollie might actually say to Mickey Phelan, look, I know you've been giving me so much guidance and stuff, but I want you to be my DOF just because I want a DOF that works next to me and not above me.
Okay.
And that helps me with all the off-pitch stuff.
Yep.
And from time to time, you can pitch in on with the coaching and whatnot. And also, Ollie loves this old legend, right? So if you go back to Championship Manager 97, 98, back to Hull. Do you remember, like in the old Division 3, Hull would always get promoted?
Correct.
Yeah. They had Mark Haley as their player manager.
Yeah.
Well, they had another midfielder, right? It was called, I think it was Joe Joyce.
Right.
Right. And that bloke got his coaching badges and everything and ended up working with Ollie when Ollie was the Man U reserve manager.
Okay.
And he said that he'd work wonders with all the youth and he wants to bring him back. Okay. So if he brought him back to the coaching setup, I think that would be brilliant because, he's already got experience working with Pogba and with Jesse and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they would automatically respect him. Yeah. So I think Phelan would do a good job. And also we've got the Lord right above us, Fergie.
Yeah.
Who's just given us that extra guidance. So any sort of agreements that Phelan and Ollie sort of, get to, they can say, right, Fergie, what do you think about this, that, and the other?
Yeah.
And Fergie, mate, he did it all.
Yeah.
So
exactly. And I think, sorry.
I was going to say, but then again, if we return to the sad reality of Old Trafford with its leaky roof, is there actually any point of having a DOF when we've got the evil CEO with his red demon eyes, Woodworm?
Yeah.
And obviously Joel Glazer, who's got a tight purse.
Yeah, I think we will touch on that in a little while in more depth, I think. But going back to your point a moment ago, saying about Ollie wants someone to work alongside him, not above him. Do you think it would be a case of each season, Phelan would go to Ollie saying, right, these I've noticed these positions we need to improve on. Here's a list of players that I believe would do that job. Or on the flip side of that coin, is it a case of Ollie says, right, this is what I have done last season. This is what I want to do next season.
Yeah.
These are the players that I want to do to achieve that. Go out and get them. Is that how it's going to be, or is it going to be
Yes.
what I just said with Phelan coming to him saying, right, I've noticed that we're potentially weak down the left, so we're going to concentrate on that, or we're a bit leaky at the back, we're going to change a centre back, whatever. What option do you think they would go for in that relationship?
I think that basically Phelan will only be there for guidance and also being sort of the middleman between the scouting department,
Yep.
like you said, and then providing Ollie with like the best recommendations.
Okay,
if you know what I mean. So
then basically Ollie would then take the list. Say he's got, I don't know, a dozen players on a list. You say, right, okay,
that's the one.
This is Mike Phelan's list. Yeah, I've got that player there, that player, and that player. Right, they're the 3 players I want. You go out and get them.
That's the one.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
But I don't think that the sad reality is, one, you've got Joel Glazer who just wants to get his cheeky dividends at the end of the season. Then you want to have a banker who's your CEO to make sure that you're making a cheeky profit. It doesn't matter if the club is in shitloads of debt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that our director of football will never be able to be the one who's really truly doing the financial negotiations.
Fair enough. Okay.
When it comes to like trying to purchase someone. I think that's the sad reality with our regime.
I think you're right.
But,
when you look back in history with United over the last 25, 30 years, whatever, I've always imagined it like you had the chairman, then the CEO, and they said to Fergie, right, you've got a pot of, back in the day, it would have only been something like 50, 80 million pounds, something like that. And you would have got yourself 6 good players for that money, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Totally.
So basically, Fergie would then say, right, okay, he'd have his yearly meeting with him. Obviously, he'd have more meetings, but the first meeting of the season saying, right, I've been given 70, 80 million. And then he would probably, this is how I assume it would happen, he would then go away to scouting staff saying, right, what have you been scouting over the last 12 months? And then they say, right, we've found this quality left back in France, being Patrice Evra. We found this quality right winger in Cristiano Ronaldo. Boy's only 19, whatever. And then Fergie goes, right, okay, right, we're going to pay, I don't know, I can't remember how much we pay for Evra. No more than about 12 million, I don't think, something like that. But you look at the quality.
Something probably in the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the quality of player you were getting for that money. And then you look at Ronaldo. How much did we pay for him? It wasn't only about 14 million pounds, something like that, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
But look at the player we brought for 14. What could you buy now for 14 million pounds?
Dan James. Play from the Championship.
Yeah. Or, well, yeah, that's it, and not being
British player tax.
Exactly. And yeah, I think that is the problem. You are buying.
Because we're talking about scouting and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to add like a bit of a different viewpoint, right? I think Ollie himself is so respected in one key specific area of the world, and that's Scandinavia.
Yeah.
He receives a knighthood back home in Norway.
Yes.
So this guy is completely respected in footballing terms, and also because of his like charitable stuff that he's done, and all the humanity stuff, which has got lots of recognition. So I think that if Ollie would do what Fergie did and just get on the blower and ring clubs himself, doing that in Scandinavia, they'd be like, yeah, I'll talk with you freely about it. And he wouldn't have half the stress that you get when you're trying to do, deals with the big or the big D.O.Fs of, the top 5 leagues in the world. So,
but alongside the director of football, you've also got these super agents that are fucking the game up.
That's the one. So if you go back to Scandinavia, there is talent there.
Yep.
We've seen hot talent come out
Well, yeah.
of Scandinavia in the past few years. You've got your Erling Braut Haaland.
Yeah.
You've got your a player who I really, really liked. This was 2 seasons ago. A young Danish player from Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Who was called Robert. I think it is Robert Sko. They say in Danish. I do apologise if we ever had a Danish listener, which I doubt. Danish
Yep.
bacon, Danish bacon, yummy, 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 yummy. But mate, sorry, Robert Sko, which I think translates to forest or something in English.
Right.
So Robbie Forrest, mate, who was playing on the right wing, he got something like 32 goals in the season, and he broke records for goals and assists.
Yep.
And he ended up going to the Bundesliga for like 5 million or something.
Exactly.
And I thought, mate. And now he's been played out of bloody position, playing on the fucking right wing.
Yep.
And he was like a typical Kanchelskis, gets the ball, does some real solid direct runs, pangs the ball, goal. All right? So these are players we should be looking for. I know that we're playing for a fucking business and they're worried about shirt sales and Jesse G-Lings touching his bling and all that bollocks. But, mate, you get some of these and you'll unearth some hidden gems. So I think we should be going to Scandinavia, and Ollie could get some hot shit, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. Just look at RBL. They've got Josef Poulsen. He's Danish.
Yes,
and
that's the one.
Emil Forsberg. He's
Swedish.
Is it Swedish or Finland?
No, Swedish, mate.
Swedish, right. Again, quality wingers. But I think
that's the one.
I think Poulsen's more of an attacking mid, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, they've been with RBL now 5-6 seasons, something like that. When they first
that's the one
to the Bundesliga, and we were linked with Poulsen years ago, and we could have picked him up for something like 8-9 million euros.
Which is peanuts.
And now he's worth like 45-50 million. Even if we'd have brought him for like 9 million euros and he didn't turn out to be the player, we still could have capitalised on a transfer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. We need to fork out shitloads of money, £500,000 on bloody Dirty Sanchez every week. So, who literally did himself a Dirty Sanchez on his top lip, prick. So, mate, going back to the old, is there any point in a D.O.F? I think there is a point in a D.O.F just because there's so many demands on the manager.
Yes.
In the current climate. So I think Ollie has aged a lot since he's taken the reins, and I do think it's important that someone gives him that extra guidance on the side.
Yes.
But in the sad reality, I can't see that D.O.F sitting down at the negotiating table and trying to strike deals with big clubs.
No, that is the sad reality of it, I think.
Yeah. So I've got a next question for you. So think about this, and I'm going to try and ask you the question the most democratic, non-arsehole, racialist way possible. So if big load of Arab oil money came to the club, like a typical Sheikh Mansour, who wanted to buy us out, right?
Yep.
Including all the Glazers' debt.
Yep.
What would you do? Accept it? Or say no, given that they come from regimes with notoriously bad human rights records?
From a point of view of the football club that I love and care for, shall I say, for the last 30 odd plus years, I would accept that deal any day of the week, solely because the Yanks have fucked the club up in respect of what we were. Yes, they, as a commercial side of things, yes, I agree they have done a lot. We are now in the top three of the richest clubs in the world, whatever, we might have dropped over the last season or two. But then from a humanitarian side, yes, it is a very difficult thing to think about. If someone's coming saying, I've got a bottomless pit of money, but all the people in my country are, under a regime of a dictatorship. Yes, there is that issue to it, and there are people out there that will probably disagree with me right now, if anybody is listening. But you have to take yourself out of that and hover above it, saying this is business. This isn't. We're not running a country. We're running a football club.
That's the one.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think what you've said is a solid argument, like as solid as a Rona boner. But you've also got to think that, all right, fair enough, you need to sort of be democratic and not put everyone in the same group. You don't want to be xenophobic and stuff. So even if people want to criticize certain monarchies and stuff, there are actually good people within monarchies, and there are people that are absolute pricks.
Yes.
And we know that from our own monarchy.
Very true.
Right? So,
yes, exactly. And like, if we look at our own monarchy, I know, again, we're coming away from the question here, but you've got a lot that do a lot for charity, and then you've got you've got one or two that do a lot for charity, then you've got one that likes to touch kids. That's all I say. And
exactly.
It is what it
is. And his ex, Fergie, who would love to get foot blowjobs, which is a bit fucking weird.
I'm not going to ask
very,
out, but it's what it is.
No, mate, that happened like back in the 90s, wasn't it? Like when Prince Andrew and Fergie split up, it's because she cheated on him,
right?
And she went to some party and got absolutely fucked. And there was video clips of her getting her feet sucked on by some bloke. So
that's for a different podcast somewhere very long down the line.
A different porn category. Foot jobs plus blowjobs. Flobs. So, all right, we've gone past the half-hour mark.
Yep.
So, I'm just going to ask you one last crazy question before we wrap up, and this is going to be: if David Gill and Fergie could get in a DeLorean and go back to 2005, would they be capable of stopping the Glazers purchasing the club after seeing all the shit they've done up until now?
I'd like to think yes, but I can't really remember who else had an offer on the table for the club. I think basically the chairman at the time, he was he wanted to sell, I believe, not because it wasn't what he wanted. It was because of the fact that I think he was getting near retirement, I believe.
Right. Okay.
I think, I don't know. That part of history is a bit. I'm not very clear on that. I'd have to Google that.
Yeah, good old Wikipedia.
Yeah, but I think if you stop the Glazer bid, but then who was the main Glazer when it took over the old chap? Was it Avram?
Oh, it must have been, yeah.
Yeah. When he was still alive, yes, they took a lot of money out of the club and whatever, but the club, they still were financing the club. But since his death and his sons have taken over, I feel it is a lot more, well, we've made a profit of X amount of millions, rather than saying I'm only going to take like, I don't know, 10, 15 million for myself. I'm going to take 75% of it, and then the other 25% we pump back into the club, and hence where we're at now, where we've got a stadia that has a leaky roof. We are one of the biggest clubs in the world, and our stadium, is leaking basically.
So it's like old Layer Road, an old cattle shed.
Yeah.
With banging halftime Bovrils for kids like me back in the day. This is when we'd go and watch Col United. Fuck me, mate.
Yeah.
Me and my old Raynaud syndrome. Losing the circulation because I was freezing my arse off. What am I going to get at halftime? Boiling hot Bovril. Stick my fucking fingers in them and bring back the circulation.
Exactly. But
bring that beat back. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Come on, heart, pump the blood.
Exactly. But yeah, I think it's a difficult question, really. I think to answer. I think yes, if we could have stopped the American takeover, who knows? It's a case of history would have been rewritten, obviously.
Yes.
And
maybe it goes down to the power that would have come out of the flux capacitor at the time.
Exactly. And I think, but then a lot of the problem is our chief executive officer.
Oh yeah.
Whatever way.
So if you
took him out the equation, potentially it wouldn't be so bad. But because you've got a bloke who is just looking at pound notes and if the whole idea about this podcast is about the director of football, if
D.O.F.
we could get a director of football to come in and do what they are meant to do, and basically say to Woodworm, you just concentrate on all the commercial side of things. I will concentrate on the football side of things. You don't get involved in my shit because you don't know what you're doing, and I have no idea what to do in regards to commercial development and stuff. So I'm going to keep out of your business. Then you're onto a winner. You are onto a proper winner. But
there we go, mate.
I can't see that happening because Woodward is worried about how much money's being spent. The net. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the net spend. Right?
Yeah, mate.
What was it last? The season before 70 million net.
So it was more or less 70 million.
Manchester United spent a net spend of £70 million. What is that about?
That is not a rebuild. Ollie has taken the club to third place, Champions League football. Shitloads of money is going to come in. Now he needs his CEO or a D.O.F. to help him out and take them even further and win an FA Cup. Fuck up, mate.
Fuck up, yeah. Basically, that is, we could have just saved nearly 40 minutes of our evening by just saying the director of football concentrates on the football. Ed Woodworm, commercial. Does not cross over.
That's the one.
End of story. He can then go out and get his £750 million contracts with Adidas over 10 years, whatever, with Nike, whoever, Chevrolet, shove it up your ass, whatever, I don't know, yeah?
That's the one.
Then each year, the director of football knows he's got a solid income coming in knowing full well that he's got all that to spend. But because you've got so much red tape and bullshit intertwined in the hierarchy of the club,
and his pubes,
but hair,
Klingons,
you're not going to get that. It's not going to be consistent because as soon as something goes wrong, for example, say somebody spends £50 million on a flop,
yeah,
Ed Woodward's going to turn around and go, right, I'm going to rein you in a bit. I'm not going to, because it's a flop. Commercially, they haven't sold the shirts, whatever. They haven't been able to sell him to the Chinese in regards to shirts and other commercial bullshit. And that is the problem. I don't know how you feel, but I think that is the main issue.
Mate, I've got your back.
Good.
And you got my crack.
Your crack what?
So I think we've talked about some really good shit there, mate.
Yeah.
The old D.O.F. Now, we just had some breaking news. There's a cheeky friendly against Villa before the season starts, and it's just coming round the corner. So hopefully before then, we'll be able to whack out maybe a non-United-esque episode, maybe about some good old banter. All right, it's kind of like going back to episode 1 where we're just talking about random shit, and maybe we can give some special shout outs to some of our old mates, especially David R.
The David
and
R.
all that stuff.
Definitely, I think that's something we will crack on with. One thing we forgot to mention is
mate.
Top director of footballs. We haven't we haven't said any. You know, we've been talking about a director of football and Mike Phelan, but potentially taking the job, but we haven't given the listener an idea of what sort of director of football we're after.
Now, I'm going to say I want to end the episode on a high.
Yep.
And I don't even want to give any shout outs to any bloody Edwards, to any Ragnicks or any of those cunts.
Yep.
The only one I'm going to say that I'd like us to get in the future is Van der Sar, just because he's done a fantastic project at Ajax over the past 3 seasons.
Definitely.
And as soon as we manage to push Woodworm to one side, Van der Sar's coming in. And that would be like the tits, mate. The fucking tits.
And I think, he's done the club a massive favour with the transfer we just did last week with Van der Bacon. Van der Bacon. We had him for 39 million or whatever it was, and he turned around and goes, "Yep, okay, thank you very much." He's made a nice profit out of it. He's given a quality player to a club that he loves as well.
That's the one. And
potentially, he's planting little seeds ready for the time that potentially he gets the job. I'm just saying that.
Yes, mate. He's planting some spunk on Woodworm's face. Full on facial, mate.
Exactly. And we
Dutch courage.
The X-rated version, yes.
Flops. Footy blowjobs. Sorry, mate. All right, I'm going to bite my tongue before I say some serious shit and get myself in trouble. So, thanks so much. This has been a banging show.
Yes.
And we're going to call it a day. We're going to call it a night. And in the next few days, we'll start drafting out the next episode.
Exactly. Okie dokie then. Well,
okay, mate.
Over and out from me, mate.
Over and out. And see you later, chronic masturbators.